They love America.
Yeah.
And then I'm out here just like kind of talking crap, you know?
That's the privilege of,
Exactly.
being the
Yeah.
next generation. You get to say, I don't like it.
This is Where We Land, a podcast bringing you stories of immigration and multicultural identity. I'm Luciana.
And I'm Claudia. And before we begin, if you would like to share your immigration story or maybe a culture clash flashback of your own, or if you'd just like to share a current fave, either from the United States or from your culture back home, you can write to us at wherewelandpod@gmail.com.
All right, well, in this episode, we speak with Fareeha Khan, a Pakistani American comedian living in Brooklyn, who told us all about her journey to the United States since she was very little. Such a good conversation.
Yeah, it was a really fun conversation. I feel like we found a lot in common with her. Let's dive into our conversation.
I was born in Karachi, Pakistan. I had a true immigrant's journey with my family. Like we moved a lot when I was younger. So I was born there, 89.
Okay.
Later that year, the Berlin Wall fell. I don't know if it's related, but it happened.
Your birth brought about its end, yeah.
Yeah, just a few months later, knocked it right down.
Right.
Love that radical spirit in me. But 89 I was born. So then it was like I think I was less than a year, and my parents decided to leave Pakistan because economically it's been really unstable, and it's really hard there. It's actually really sad. A lot of people that get educated there end up leaving. It's also really dangerous. Karachi is one of the top most dangerous cities in the world. So they decided to leave. We went to Cyprus, which is in the Mediterranean.
Oh, wow.
Really small island, yeah, near Turkey and Greece. My dad got a job there. He worked at a multinational computer company. He was an engineer. He was really smart. The Pakistan government paid for his master's to go study at MIT in Boston. So he was
okay.
he was the smart guy in Karachi who kind of made it out. So first we moved to Cyprus. So we're there for 2 or 3 years. My little brother's born, and I also have an older brother. Who was also born in Pakistan. And then we moved to Canada, Toronto, for 1 year.
Huh.
I don't know why. I was 4, I was 4.
They were maybe scoping it out, maybe
Yeah,
here?
I think it was really cold, and I think everyone hated it there. I don't know why. I think something weird happened. I was 4, so I don't know. But and then we moved to South Carolina. So we landed in South Carolina. I think I was 4 or 5 or something. And then we lived there till I was 12, and then my family moved to Virginia. And then that's where I grew up, and I went to high school and college, and now I've been in New York for 10 years.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of globetrotting early on in life.
Yeah, so early on. I don't remember it.
Yeah, because the way you spoke about Canada, which was after Karachi and after Cyprus even, you're yeah, I think no one liked it. I think it sounds like this is what you've heard the family say.
Exactly. I was too young to understand. I mean, I think it was really hard on my parents to move away from their families, to start over in these new places. Also being brown in these different places. I think that they face their own challenges with that, which, my boomer Pakistani parents will never talk about or admit to. But the older I get, I'm there was stuff going on there.
Why Virginia in the end?
I think he got a job. They're chasing stability. And you know what? I really have to give it to my parents. I'm tough on them, they're not perfect, but they did really create a whole new life for themselves, and they've done really well for themselves. They're kind of living the American dream. They have a business now, they have a big house in Virginia that they love, they have a bunch of grandkids. That's what they wanted, so they're they're happy.
They did it.
They love America.
Yeah.
And then I'm out here just kind of talking crap,
That's the privilege of,
Exactly.
being the
Yeah.
next generation. You get to say,
Exactly.
I don't like it.
Exactly. Because they were dealing with I think my dad was dealing with racism in the workplace in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
early 2000s, no one's talking about that, and they didn't have words for it. And I think it was really hard for them, like, to not
Yeah.
have their own family around to help them with the kids and, like, 3 kids, and my mom was, like, watching the kids a lot by herself. It's, like, tough.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
with all that moving around. Oof, I can't do your
Yeah.
mom, like, having to, like, pick up to new place
I
and new
can't.
I
place.
think that she was really stressed out during the era, but she does not, like, talk about her feelings, so I don't really know, you
I
know?
mean, yeah, that kind of you just keep it all in and you
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
exactly.
persevere.
Is that how your mom is too?
I mean, like,
No, I
with
think
time,
we could sense it more. She doesn't
Okay.
talk, she doesn't verbalize it either. She doesn't like name the feeling or say what she's going
Yeah.
through, but I think you can like we perceived the signs for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Did your parents tell you, like, did you have an idea of America, or did they tell you, like, hey, we're going to?
I don't even remember them talking to me about us moving. I mean,
Oh,
I might have just been
Like,
too
no
young, but
explanations.
honestly, they probably didn't even take the time to, like, talk to me. Like, I don't think I literally do not remember at
Oh,
all.
Okay.
wow. That's so well, I can imagine, especially if you're moving, because it wasn't one move for you guys, right? It
Yeah,
was
it was like
multiple.
4,
So if you
yeah.
have to, every time you're moving, you have to pick up and
Explain it
sit
to
the
these
kids down and explain, you'd be,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, you know what, guys? Until we figure it out, and then when they get to Virginia, guys,
Yeah.
this is home. Like, this is home.
Like, the move that I do remember was when we left South Carolina because I was 12. And I was
Oh,
really
okay.
sad. I was so
Oh.
sad. I had, like, to leave, like, my best friend and, like, all this stuff, and, moving in the middle of the school year and starting over was really hard. But I think that I think my dad got, like, it was a new company or something. It was, like, a new career move for him.
Mm.
Hmm.
That's what that move I remember, like, processing and, like, us talking about, but I don't remember anything else.
Wow.
Okay.
Do you remember like the first few years when you came to the States?
I have, like, a distinct memory of, like, riding my little tricycle in the preschool and trying to act like I was cooler than all these kids or whatever, and I don't know, that's something I remember. I was, like, sticking my nose up, like, I thought that was funny at the time. I don't remember that much from those early days, but my dad told me this something, where I think I was, like, sad because kids were saying that my, like, skin looked like dirt. Like, there was, like,
Mm.
subtle racism that, like, nobody really knew how to address.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Not to make it
Mm.
depressing, but that's the truth.
Sadly, I think that's part of a lot of immigrants'
Yeah.
experiences when
I
they
think
first
so
move to a new
too.
country because they're
Yes.
automatically different, either because of the
Yeah.
way they have an accent or they look physically different. They have
Mm.
like either darker skin or whatever it may be. So
Yeah.
yeah, you get picked on.
Well, you know what? Like, for me, I feel like my immigrant identity and story, like, so much of it, I have been, now I'm 36, and I've done so much, like, reflecting and healing and therapy and
Mm-hmm.
stuff and, like, talking about it in my comedy. Like, my last solo show, I did a one-woman show, and it was all about intergenerational trauma and, like,
Mm.
how all of this stuff and, like, capitalism combined just makes you feel so bad about yourself that it's hard to just, like, do whatever the hell it is you wanna do, and the show is called I Actually Don't Feel That Good, and, like, that's, like, been my experience, but now that I did that kind of I don't know, after doing that show and stuff and, like, getting a little older, I'm like, "Okay, the new chapter is I've, like, processed that, like, most of my life I felt like an outsider, and now I wanna turn it into, like, it's a win, actually." You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah.
Finally
Yeah.
claiming it in my 30s, but it really took this long to get there, to be like, "Actually, it's so fucking cool that, like, I'm an outsider," you know?
That comes, I feel like, with age, embracing
It
who you
took
are, knowing who you
so
are. What you're saying right now comes up a lot. We've
Yeah.
talked
Yeah.
about reclaiming. We've talked about
Yeah.
like, assimilating and shedding, like to just blend in and survive and not be picked on and try to be
Yes,
like,
it's so traumatizing, actually, because it's like assimilation, you lose your culture, you lose like, I don't know how to speak Urdu. Oh my god, you guys asked me about a word that I'm supposed to learn, and I had to ask my dad for it, and I'm not sure how to pronounce the word, and I forgot
oh
to
my
call him,
God,
and then
no,
I'm
no,
gonna
no.
pronounce it.
That's fine.
Backing up a little bit. So
Yeah,
you remember preschool. Did
yeah.
you have like ideas though of America, like before you came in? Did they match what you saw?
it's so interesting because I feel like I don't know what my perception of the US was before. I think it was, like, forming as I was in the US. In some ways, I feel like I'm such an American kid because I grew up in
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina and Virginia and, like, around all this American culture. Like, to me, what I was learning about America when I was, like, really, really young was, like, Beanie Babies and Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen
Hey,
Oh my gosh,
and,
that culture
like,
is also my
Nickelodeon.
childhood culture. Yes.
for
Yes,
sure.
We had the
exactly, and, like
videotapes, the Mary-Kate and Ashley
yeah.
videotapes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
We
yes, yes.
loved them.
We loved
Yeah, oh
them.
When
my
they were
god, I
little
love
detectives, they
Nickelodeon.
played to be they
I mean, that movie, I was what there I mentioned this
They
in, like
had multiple, I want to say,
Yes,
right?
they popped
wait, what?
out
They
like
have so many movies,
so
dude. They're
many.
like
Yeah.
that's why they retired. They're like, "We're done, dude."
They didn't though. They have this very successful clothing brand.
Oh, well, I mean, they retired from acting.
Oh,
That's
from
like,
acting.
Oh
cool,
yeah.
Yeah,
They don't
maybe.
need to
you know?
do it. They don't need to do
It's
it.
cool to pivot. I think that's cool to pivot.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to me, I was like learning what like my family was like my parents were learning about American culture through me, because
Yeah.
like me and my brothers, we were like going to school, watching TV, absorbing the culture. Like it was a lot of growing pains, and I was really obsessed with TV, and that's probably why I wanted to be a comedian. I think
Mm.
I love TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there anything about like in this process early on of like absorbing American culture and teaching it to your parents, was there anything that you found strange or weird or that you just clocked as like, I don't understand that?
I think because I was so young, I, like, grew up in the paradox of, like, feeling like my family's culture was the weird one.
Oh,
Like,
gotcha.
I
Oh.
never felt like a
Okay.
mix. I was going to school and then they're like, "Why does your lunch smell like that?" And I was like, "Oh, my family's weird?" Like, that was what I
Right.
Did you remember trying to like hide it or like be like, Mom,
yes,
don't send me this for lunch.
definitely.
Please just send me a
Yeah.
sandwich. Please
I'm,
just
like,
send me.
so sad when I think about it, but yeah, totally, I tried to assimilate all the time. I wanted to be
Mhm.
normal like my friends. I tried to get, like, the right clothes, and, like, for so long in, like, my teens and my 20s, I straightened my hair, and now I'm embracing my, like, crazy curly hair,
So
Like,
dramatic.
well, I don't know, it's, like, whatever you wanna do, but that was, like,
Yeah.
part of my process of, like, decolonizing my mind?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's so interesting. We've talked about that with other guests before of like the things that when you were little, you kind of like suppressed or like hid.
Mhm.
And then as you get older, there comes a time where you're like, you reevaluate and you're like, oh, do I want to get that back? Do I want that back in my life? That thing that I stopped
Yeah,
doing, those, whatever it is, the food that I stopped eating or the music I stopped
literally.
listening
Yeah.
to.
We've talked about it a lot with names as well. People like
Yes!
change their name.
So, okay, like, Pakistani names are so hard to say. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
people can't even say Pakistan on the news or, like, Pakistan?
Mm.
Mhm.
There's a lot of, like, soft I's and soft A's in Pakistan that just it's not in the American language.
Mhm.
I say my name Fareeha. That's how I choose
Silent
to
H. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's, like, just how I like it, but if you met there's a lot of different ways to say it, and with, like, a full Pakistani accent, it's like Faria. But then even my brothers, like, don't say like, no, my brothers call me Freya. Like, they don't say it how I mean.
You're like,
Um,
you do know my name though, right?
yeah, they do, but this is just, like, I don't know how to explain it
If I
'cause
was
it's
the
just a
younger brother, I'd be
culture.
like, I'm not from Pakistan. I was born in Cyprus. What are you talking about? I'm not going to
He
say your
is
name.
he is Cyprus guy, for sure, and we haven't even been back to Cyprus yet. We
Oh
need to, like, go back
wow.
Is
and
that
do, like,
something you want to do?
I would love to do that with my brother and, like, his wife and his kid and, like,
What about Toronto though?
oh,
You don't want to
that's
revisit your stomping grounds? No.
like, I feel like there was I don't know how to I'm not trying to be, like, so rude to anyone listening who's, like, from Toronto. Actually love Canadians. I have a lot of Canadian friends myself. But, there's something about, like, our year in Toronto that I think was traumatic because, like,
Hmm.
none of us wanna go back to Toronto. Like, I think that there was something about where we lived and we experienced like, I vaguely remember I'm sorry that all my childhood memories are of, like, vague
A blur.
racism. Like
Yeah, I'm always
Yeah.
curious if if someone has actually because I feel like immigrants have a lot of like lore, especially if like
Yes.
you move when you're really young because they
Yes.
it wasn't explained to you. You were told you were going to Disneyland or
Yeah.
you weren't told anything at all. So
Yeah.
I feel like
Ignorance.
there's always a lot of lore around when we moved, why we moved.
Yeah.
Was it a good decision? Was it a bad decision? Were we happy? Were we happier? Where? When? So there's a lot of lore, and I'm always curious, and I always ask, like, have you spoken to your parents? Have you asked your parents? Because a lot of the
Yeah.
times we just hang on to childhood lore, and there's so many things that, like, later on in life, I asked my mom, I always thought it was like this. Is that how it happened?
Right.
Is that how we felt? Was it
And they're
good?
like, no.
And
it
they're
was
like,
this.
I mean,
no.
I should check in with them a little bit more. My parents, I feel like they're like not telling like awesome lore stories. I'll tell you that. They're like very practical, hardworking. My dad's an engineer. My mom is like a very practical, like accountant Libra. Like
Mm.
they just, I'm the black sheep in my family. Like I'm creative. I'm kicky,
Right.
and I'm bringing the lore, I'm filling in the details about the lore. I just know that anytime, we've talked to our parents about it, it's like, the lore is really like Pakistan was dangerous. The reason they decided to move when they did is because, um, they had a car, and in Pakistan, there's a very low working class, so that everyone has drivers.
Mhm.
And their driver got robbed and someone stole their car. And then they
Um,
started getting, like, threats from the mob or whatever, being like, "We know who you are, we know where you live, like, we're gonna come get your money." Like, what it was just, like,
mm,
Wow.
dangerous.
Yeah.
yeah.
And, that's when they decided to leave.
That'll do it. That'll do it for sure. Yeah.
Like, their lore is, like, Pakistan was bad or, like, that's where they're from, they would never call it,
Mhm.
but it wasn't, like, it was like, you hear it in the way they talk about it, it's like, it was sad that they had to leave,
Mhm.
and, like, a lot of it is, I think, due to, once again, American capitalism and colonization and, destabilization of, like, certain countries like Pakistan, and then there's also, like, very corrupt leaders and all of that kinda stuff, but, um yeah, like, they just thought America was better, and that's how they think. They're like, "America is where you get to be free, and, it's such a good country, and there's laws, and people follow democracy," or whatever. Like,
Mm.
that
Mhm.
they are like they watch, like, the news all day. They just love America. I don't know what
Yeah.
to say.
I mean, this is very like just I feel like such a story that one could hear over and over again. You leave such
Yeah.
a high stakes, horrible situation and then
Yeah.
safety and
Yeah.
you can relax, you know?
Yeah.
So I want to get into like how you get into comedy. We
Yeah.
listened, Claudia and I both listened to your stand up on Comedy Central. You talk about being a paralegal, how you didn't like the job.
Yeah.
So I just want to kind of know like I have some guesses, but how did you end up in
Sure.
law? Why? What was the
Yeah.
mindset at the
Yeah,
time?
before the comedy, what were
Before
you
the
like
comedy.
before
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, because the moment of, like, from childhood to comedy was a really long journey because
Mm-hmm.
my sweet immigrant parents, they really discouraged me from pursuing the arts, and that's
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
all I ever wanted to do as a kid. That's the main thing I remember, but my parents I remember telling my dad, I was like, "I wanna be an artist," and he's like, "Oh, so you wanna be homeless?" That's what he said. He said
Oh.
Mm.
homeless back then, it's houseless now,
Of
but
course,
Yeah.
but still, like,
um
that's such an immigrant mindset, though.
isn't it
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
and, like, that fully still follows me when I'm pursuing the arts and, like, to this day, I have a day job, and I've never not had a full-time day job. But, like, yeah, when I was in school even like, when I was a child, I was very creative, I was, like, constantly making stuff, I really liked drawing, and then me and my friends would, like, put on little shows and stuff, like, I loved that kinda stuff. But then as I got older and, like, went through puberty, I think I literally was like, "Oh," I was just discouraged, I was like, "There's no point following this, time to, like, get serious in, like, middle
Mm.
school or whatever." And I tried to be normal for so long, I tried, like, through high school, and I went to college in Virginia, I went to George Mason, and I, like, tried to study something normal that my parents could be proud of. I studied conflict analysis and resolution because
Sounds
in my head
super smart, super, like,
D-
academic, super
yeah.
yeah.
brainy.
Your
I'll
parents were
do
like, yes, and then you'll go to law school.
Yeah, I
Let's
was
do
like,
this.
sure, just trying to, like, buy time till I figure it out. I was not as smart as the other kids. They were so smart, and, they were, like a lot of them went on to be in, like, the State Department and stuff, and, like, I kind of just learned about I feel like I casually learned about some, like, really interesting, like, Middle East politics and stuff, but then after that, I was like, "Who am I?" And, I randomly got a job at a law firm as a paralegal. I had no intention of doing that. It
Mhm.
was when I graduated, it was still, it still felt like it was 2011, and it was, like, after that 2009, like, recession
Crisis, yeah.
and yeah, the crisis, and it just felt like any job you can get is a blessing. That's what it felt like.
Mhm.
So I
Mm.
Yeah.
just and I knew I had a friend of a friend at a law firm in DC. So I just and my older brother had become a lawyer. He went to law school. So I was like, "Okay, I'll just do that." Kind of I was trying to, like, check boxes off because I, like, didn't know how to, like, do what I wanted, and I was so miserable, I wanted to die. But then in that time of darkness, I turned to the arts because I was like, "Okay, I'm so miserable, but, like, what the hell do I really wanna do?" And I just
Mhm.
let myself, like, explore that, like, I did, like, online writing classes, I, like, went on this trip to Thailand to visit my friend. That was fun, and I tried to learn graphic design, and, like, I got back into drawing, and then I also took an improv class, and I really liked it right away. Doing improv, like, really unlocked something in me that I had, I think, always connected to, which was, like, being funny, making stuff up,
Mhm.
and I just really liked it. I finally got the guts to quit my paralegal job, and I wanted to get into marketing because I thought I would be more creative, and
Mhm.
I just, like, met some other people at this, like, happy hour thing, and
Mhm.
um, I it's funny how every job is, like, through someone you actually just meet. Like, it's always um, anyways, and then I got an internship at this, like, web design agency, and then from that point, I started to feel like, "Okay, maybe I can figure this out." I was still living at home, so I saved a lot of money that
Mm.
I'd
Mhm.
been making, so that was pretty cool, and then after about, 6 months of doing this, like, marketing internship, I was like, "You know what? What the fuck am I doing in Virginia? I've been wanting to get out of here forever. It's time to finally chase my dreams and move to New York." And then as I was making that decision, I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to New York, not just to work a regular job, but, like, to be an artist. And I'll work a
Wow.
regular job to live there and
Mm.
to make this dream a reality," kind of the way my parents taught me, like, you go for
Mhm.
you, like, build a life. And then I was like, I will do everything I can to become an artist, which was always my childhood dream. This is why I'm, like, so proud of myself because I had saved all that money.
Right.
And
Mhm.
God bless them, they let me live at their house for free. So that's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
support.
God
Yeah.
bless them, for real.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "I'm gonna move to New York," and no matter what they said, like, I didn't need their help. You know what I
Right.
mean? It didn't
Mhm.
matter, like, I was gonna do it.
In the stand-up that we saw, you talked on being an immigrant,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
and is that, I mean, clearly you've built it in there. I'm assuming, like, yes, this is intentional. Like, how did you go about that? About, like, adding that topic into
Yeah,
your
like
work?
how does it make its way into your comedy?
Okay, that's a great question. Ever since I started stand-up, so, like I said, I had started with improv first, and
Yeah.
I did that, and I did sketch comedy, and then I started doing stand-up. So, I've been doing stand-up for, like, the past 8 years, I think, now, and, so I had that kind of, background of, like, you're just kinda shooting the shit, like, figuring it out, like, throwing things out there. That's what improv
Mhm.
felt like to me. And, so when I started doing stand-up, I was kinda doing the same thing. I would get up on stage and I'm like, "This is what I wanna talk about." It was just kind of clear to me, like, I would just talk about whatever's on my mind. I think when I was first starting out, I was getting on stage and I was like, "What do I wanna say?" And I was like, "You know what? Like, I'm a brown woman in America, and, like, that has shaped my experience, my mind, the way I think about myself, the way I relate to the world." And I was like, "That's what I wanna talk about."
Mm.
It's like
Mhm.
it's like,
Mhm.
why am I different and why do I feel different? It's because 'cause I'm an immigrant. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
that's it. And also what's really interesting for me is I'm an Aquarius rising, by the way. I know you guys don't get that, but trust me, that makes a lot of sense. But
Yeah, I see it
Because
now.
I don't fit in here, but when I go back to Pakistan, I don't fit in there. I'm, like, too American. So I always had this, like, conundrum. I was like, "I don't fit in really anywhere. I'm almost like my own, like, planet or something."
Yeah.
And that was always how I felt, and
Mm-hmm.
it's shaped so much of my comedy in my life, so I was like, "I wanna talk about that."
Yeah.
I don't
I
care if it's
mean, Fadia, we are
uncomfortable.
relating on so many levels right now.
So you're just
You
saying
have
that,
no
like,
idea.
I mean,
I love
You're telling my
that.
life story right now.
yeah,
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
the part
like,
we didn't tell her yet is that yes, we moved to the States when we were allegedly 4 or 5,
Yeah.
but we moved back to Peru when
mhm.
I
This kinda
was
stuff
11 and Luciana was 12.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
girl, we did not fit in.
Of
People were
course,
like, "You were born here,
of
you
course
lying."
not.
It's like,
2 different
why do
worlds.
you speak Spanish like this if you're
We had
Peruvian? Like, I'm
accents.
sorry, we
We
Yeah.
have
had
accents.
accents. It was
Yeah,
so bad.
Literally, and, like, same. I mean, and you
yeah.
probably, like, had, like, interests that were, like, American, like, McDonald's or you know what I mean? Like
We were so Americanized,
We
yeah,
and we
didn't
loved
know
it.
any of the Peruvian artists. Everyone was listening to
same.
music and talking about like hot guys that we didn't know who they were.
Oh my god, it's so also, it's like it's kind of like that's the downfall of America. It's, like, too different. Why are we not integrating world culture into all of it?
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I have faith that slowly, like Netflix is
I,
coming for
I, I
all of
wonder,
us, and I
yeah,
feel like
I wonder, I see it
that's
a
how we get
bit
it.
different with my, like, I have very small children right now, and
Yeah.
it's different. I think it's
Yeah.
different now. And I
Okay,
think
good.
social media and the internet, for better or for worse, has changed the game.
Oh, that's
I agree.
true.
Like, I
But now
think
we
that,
know about more people in the world, which we always should have.
yeah.
America should have never been so insulated. It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
I mean,
So
I follow a lot
yeah.
of like European girlies on
Okay, that's
Instagram.
cool. Hey, by the way, I'm going to Europe in like 10
So
days.
How fun for
so
pleasure.
fun.
I'm going to an artist retreat in Turkey.
Oh my god,
Oh,
congratulations.
first of all, that sounds
Thank
really
you
fancy and
Super
so
fancy.
nice.
much.
And
I'm really
oh my
excited.
gosh.
And then I'm gonna go to Portugal for a week before I come back.
Beautiful.
Wait, I
Loved
want the
it.
teased. What are you going to be working on at the artist retreat?
So actually, I would like to focus on drawing and painting.
Oh,
Nice.
I just started
wonderful.
experimenting with painting. I've been wanting to do it forever, but I've always felt intimidated. But I kind of feel like now's the time. Like I'm just sort of like I've been working on all these different things. I'm like, sure, let's just do painting now too, you know?
Yeah.
That would be so
do it all.
interesting.
I love that you like have all of these callings. It's like almost like
Yeah.
you bottled it up a little bit and now it's like
Yes.
boom, it's my time. I get to explore it. And you know what? I do hear it throughout our conversation. You know, you were like you said, I'm the black sheep or I want it to be normal. What you're doing right now is normal. What you're doing right now, like you are not the black sheep. You are very smart. You just were not passionate about being a paralegal. So
I was
like
not.
I
Yeah.
really do hope that just as you are reclaiming all the things that you kind of
You're
closed
not.
up, that you do reclaim this part of you that is so valid and important and equally demanding.
That's the mom
law
right there.
school.
That's the mom. Can you tell?
Sorry.
Can
Yeah.
you tell? She's the one with children.
Loving that. That filled my cup up.
Oh,
That was
well,
nice.
it's
I mean,
true.
just because like I
No,
was
no,
hearing
I
it and I'm
really
like,
like that.
I feel like you need to change the way you're speaking
No,
about
I
this
know. I'm
because
honestly I am noticing. I mean, that's something I'm still working on, like, every day. Like, I'm going to therapy, I'm
Yeah.
doing all the work, but it's like, there's still the voice that's so critical and hard on me, and
for
it's
sure.
really hard to undo.
Yeah.
And, like, just be like, "Wow, I'm living my dream. Everything's cool. Everything's awesome." It's still like I still almost have that, like, immigrant fear that, like, something's gonna go wrong. I gotta
For
like, it's
sure.
hard.
For sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it is so the voice, we've talked about this, I think, in like so many episodes
Yeah.
because our
We all
parents
feel it.
also, we all feel
Of
it. They're
course,
like,
right?
please pick job security, also safety. Also, you know, they just like they had to they
And
wanted this for us. So why are we
yeah.
straying off of that path?
And I feel like you are very like the household mentality that you're describing, I feel is very similar to the one we had growing up, which is not only was it an immigrant household, but also it was a household that strived for success in the traditional sense. Like academic
Yes.
success followed by
Oh,
like
my
job
parents
security.
wanted that too.
Yeah. And so like, I mean, you shared a couple of like phrases or feedback that you got from your parents that like we Luciana and I were both like, oh, they said that. But like I can think of a couple of my own that we heard. Like,
Okay, so tip me with them.
Growing up, like this phrase has stuck with me the rest of my life. Like I was always first place, like top of my class, first place.
Okay,
and
you're
one
smart,
year,
you're intimidated.
one year, only 1 year, I was second, not first. And it was the first year we moved back to Peru. So my Spanish was like,
struggling.
And my dad said to me, second place is the first loser.
Mr.
I was
and mind you, this is not a phrase that my father used exclusively that one time. I know this phrase. Everybody knows this phrase.
He said it a lot.
And
I do want to say, like, your parents, just like our parents, only wanted, like they thought this is the way.
Like you hear that story and you're like, her father was an animal. He wasn't. He was a loving and caring dude. But
no, exactly. Like, because also I do think like this is also a difference between being immigrant and being American. Is like when you start to talk about how your parents talked and treated you, sometimes it sounds like abusive, and like I guess it was, but it's like that's just how immigrants are. Like American parents were not like that, you know.
There's that like you can't be soft.
It's a lot of tough love
when you're an immigrant. You can't be.
It's like a different, especially the boomer generation, like the immigrant boomer generation. Like that was like right after like the freaking Cold War and all that. Everyone's jaded as hell. It's
also, they were worried about so many things. They're like, we're settling into the new country. They're having to deal with like how they integrate, how they like stabilize.
They were massively stressed out, by the way. That's why there's intergenerational.
As a mom of young kids now, I can't even.
No, I wouldn't. I would
when
not
you're telling
ever.
me those 4 countries, your poor
Can you imagine? You had to do that like next year. You had to move with all the kids.
I think I just would have stayed in Toronto because I'm like, I cannot.
I mean, it's a pain in the ass to move my little old ass around.
Like, no, literally. I'm like scared to go on a trip. Like, I'm like, wow, that's so far.
How many suitcases do I have to pack? No.
Literally, I'm like, I'm going to be so far from my cats and my house.
This is what our parents have given us. This is what they gave us.
The luxuries.
Literally.
Okay, so I want to move on to talk a little bit about community. So this is a topic that's really important to us on the podcast because it's something that's vital to immigrants. Like when you immigrate, finding your people among this new environment, super important. If you can maybe talk about the first sense of community that you got, the earliest memory you have of like always feeling like an outsider, yes, but what was that first moment of like connecting with someone, with either a group of people or a person in the United States?
I'm huge on friendship. I love friendship. I love my friends so much. Like that is my community, and my friends are also all outcasts. That's always how it goes. Like in South Carolina, I remember my first best friend. Her name's Samya. She lives in DC and she has 2 kids. And I just saw her when I was home in DC last weekend. It was really nice to catch up. And I met her when I was 8. She was 10, and she's also Pakistani American, and we were going through the same exact thing. Like we both had brothers. We both had really strict parents. We both were like getting the same pressures put on us, you know? And she always supported me as a creative person. Like she always, since I was a really young kid, she saw my like creative abilities and talents, and she would always encourage me. And to this day, she still encourages me and, you know, cheers me on. That's one of my first friends. And then when I moved to Virginia, it took me a little while after the move, but then I made really close friends in high school. And I have this group of friends from high school. We call ourselves the Creek Kids. And it's like, we just didn't fit in, and we just wanted to hang out at the creek and like.
That sounds very like old school, that there was a physical place and you named yourselves after it.
I was, no, we were, and like it. Honestly,
do you guys have T-shirts?
No, we actually have matching tattoos.
Oh, wow. Of a creek?
That I drew of the Creek Kids.
Oh my God.
Wait, I
That
can show
is
it's on my arm. I have to like get out my arm for my sweatshirt. But I'm gonna go visit them. My two best friends actually just got a house upstate, in
Oh,
upstate New York, so I'm
nice.
gonna go visit them this weekend.
this is so wholesome, by the
Nice.
way. Like the
This is
Oh
kids.
my gosh, there it
Oh,
is. That is so special to have like
that
to find
yeah.
that level of a bond, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, like, I mean, we've been friends now for, like, 20, 15 years or whatever, like, yeah,
Wow,
I
yeah.
think 15, and then with Samya, I've been friends with her for, like, 20 years, and, um, these are really old friendships because I think we bonded over not fitting in, and that's
Mm-hmm.
always been my community. And then, when I moved to New York, like, all of my close friends are also, like, a bunch of outcasts too, like, comedians, artists, like,
Mm-hmm.
people that just wanna do their own thing, that aren't fitting into the regular mold, and
Mm-hmm.
that too I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I belong with.
That's really
That's
interesting
awesome.
because
Mm-hmm.
um that's a different when you mention comedians, I feel like that's a different community.
Well, there's a lot of different types of comedians too, but you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just like
Right.
the word comedian, it's like there's so many different comedians, like there's so many goddamn comedians in New York City. I mean, it's there's all kinds of them, and so I just want to say that it's very diverse. It's very diverse. It's not like one thing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
So where do you
There's
find,
like
especially for
subgroups.
someone,
Yes.
yeah, especially
Okay.
for someone like you who deploys her comedy in so many different avenues.
Right.
So you can
Yeah,
tap into
that
like the
yeah.
stand up, you can tap into like whoever's writing, you can tap
Totally.
into like
Mm-hmm.
the art, the more artistic part of like your comedy or whatever.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite? Like, oh, I
Yeah.
love being
Tell
on
us now, which one is your
stage.
favorite group?
Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, I'm based in Brooklyn and I love the Brooklyn comedy scene. Those are my guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Okay.
like, I can't speak for every single person in the Brooklyn comedy scene. So if you ever met someone from that scene and they're an asshole, like, that's not.
Right.
That's not
I
my
don't
friend.
agree with that. But like, I think there's a lot of really genuinely funny, talented, smart, sweet, unique, weird people in this scene that are also very artistic and also didn't fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I could name a bunch
I'm
of
sorry,
my
you're
I know.
Ziggy's here, my cat's here.
I think he wants to participate in the.
Yeah, you know what? Ziggy, do you have something to say about comedy? Ziggy, do you have something to say?
Oh my gosh, he's so cute. So cute.
Very pretty, very handsome boy.
We like to ask
The
a
question.
The question. It sounds so intense, right? Do you feel more American, Pakistani, Southern? What would you say is your
Okay.
main cultural identity or identities? And we know that this is something that's always changing. So
Totally.
Yeah.
what is that today for you?
So for me, the way I describe myself, and this is the bucket I feel called to, is Pakistani American.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hyphenate. Because it's like when you do the hyphenate, I definitely don't feel Pakistani. I didn't grow up there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel American, but it's like I don't want to just claim that. You know what I mean? Like,
Like you don't want to deny your Pakistani part as
Exactly.
well.
Yeah,
I'm not
American
just
isn't the
saying-
whole story.
It's
So
not the
Canadian
whole
is not in
story.
there at all. No.
Canadian, no.
Toronto?
It
No.
was a year. Come on. Come on. We don't talk about that.
That's right. That's
No.
right. No.
Um,
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like the hyphenate captures like even the fact that I don't fit into either bucket. Do you know what I'm saying? Like just even
Yeah.
that whole feeling that I've been describing of like I don't really fit in anywhere. It's like my own thing. Like that's the bucket for me.
So it's interesting to hear your response. I really like the idea of like the hyphen because you don't feel
Yeah.
fully each one. That's like that's
Yeah.
really cool. Really cool way to explain
Yeah.
it. Our final little segment is the one about the
Yeah, the
language.
word.
So if you have a word or a phrase in Urdu or any of the Pakistani languages
Okay.
that you would like to share.
My family speaks Urdu. You guys should have my dad on. He speaks a lot of languages. Okay, so I'm gonna attempt to say it. The word I asked him if there was a word that doesn't translate into English. That's such an interesting prompt, and he said yagar. And
Okay.
yagar. I think I'm saying it right, unless it's Jagar. Oh my God, dude. I'm like a bad representative for Pakistanis right now, dude.
It's okay.
Don't worry. I'm sure the comment section will be
podcast
super understanding and super kind about it.
Okay, thanks so much, everybody, for your support. Yeah, God, he said re-roll the R almost like the pirates do. It means finding a way to get things done, something like MacGyver used to do. That's what he said.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no good, translation in English.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you get it done. I guess that's the vibe, you know? Like a MacGyver. Like you just figure it out.
Yeah, you figure it out. You figure out a way. You find a solution. I like that.
I like
that's
it.
the word he gave me because that's actually like how they raised us. He was like,
I know.
Figure it out. Yeah.
I mean, it's your father's favorite word, I bet, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fareeha.
Fun.
Thank you so much for giving us
that was a lot of
fun. It was so nice to meet you guys and talk to you guys. This was really, really.
It was so nice to meet you. It's so good to know that you're like based here in New York.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Claudia, you should come out to like one of my shows sometime. Or
yes,
something.
I would love to. Like,
okay, well,
let me know. We have email. We have each other's email.
Yeah,
we've chatted.
Yeah. So, having finished our conversation, how did that land for you?
That was a really fun episode. It left me thinking a lot about how she doesn't really have very many memories or strong recollections about like that initial part of her life where there was a lot of moving around. And I remember another guest also spoke about like having immigrant brain. I think it was Michelle Mi Jung Kim, where she was like, oh yeah, that sometimes the moving can be a little too much for a kid, you know? And so you don't really take in everything that's happening. You're just like going.
I think it's almost like, like you're putting the puzzle piece together of like you have little bits. Some come from memory, some come from what you've been told, you know, and so you're putting it together like your own experience from what other people have told you. And then I think where you fill in the blanks, whereas like, is this how it went down? And I think that then comes can I double check? Can we talk about this? Because I may have just filled in that blank. I may just have made that up. I may just have said like, oh, this happened because of X, like you giving it a reason that is true or not true. And so I think that, a lot of immigrants are probably asking their parents later in life, if their parents are willing to share too, because it sounded also like Fareeha's parents are like, don't want to revisit that. Don't want to talk about that. Also like, you know, time changes things. So like when we could ask our mother now things, I feel like with time, things have warped into something else or things like you see things in a different way. Like, oh, I made this decision. Like in hindsight, you can give a better answer as to why you made your decisions. Like I moved because I wanted to do X, Y, Z. But in the time it could have been like, I'm bored. I want to get out of here. So I'm moving. Yeah. In hindsight, I don't think maybe you do say I'm bored, or maybe you're like, oh, I wanted to like, you know, you give a more mature, you know, hindsight is 2020, you know, things will evolve with time.
Yeah. Also, there's like rose-colored glasses sometimes
for
towards
sure.
the past of like
100%.
Oh, we like, and the explanation becomes like, especially like I'm thinking like when there's a difficult moment involved. Like I'm thinking in the instance of Fareeha, like the time in Canada. Like maybe if she does sit her parents down and ask them one day, maybe they have like a kinder explanation of like, like for instance, maybe they do say, it was just too cold.
Yeah.
You know? And you know what? Maybe that is like
that's all they want to share
right now.
Yeah.
Because like even it can be like even like, oh no, now that I think about it, I didn't like it, because it was cold. And maybe that was part of it. Maybe there was something else. Like who knows? And that's what I'm fascinated by, that at the end, you can't really know 100%. There's just everyone's different perspectives.
And everyone's experience is different. Her father and her mother even could have very different reasons as to why Canada didn't work out. I feel like I got a sense that it was painful. So, but that pain is different for each person. So,
that's even something that I think, once again, we relate to as well. Like there's 4 kids. There was 4 kids in our family, right? Plus mom, plus dad. And I feel like if you ask any of us, like our first year in the United States, like how was it? And because the first year is typically the most difficult year, you know, because it's when everyone is adapting. And I know that within our family, like that first year was fine for me, but I was also, I feel like, not in the most difficult situation. Like our sisters were like teenagers.
I mean, to be honest, I think it was probably the hardest on our parents, 100%.
Also.
On my mother, on our mother.
It must have been super hard. Yes.
Like just, I can't, you know?
Yeah.
So it
and I think
really
we would all have different answers. Like the 6 of us, I think we would have different answers of like, how hard was that year? And how everyone, like for some people might respond, oh, it was great. I think mom would respond, it was great, even though it was probably the hardest for her. But that's just, mom is very rose-colored glassy.
No, and I also feel like she would just be like, because of her time in the U.S. was great.
Because she loved living there. So she was like, oh, it was great.
It's almost like even hard to dissect into each year, you know?
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Another part that like really, you know, kind of stuck with me as well was like, and something that we get a lot of from the immigrant story is about like just this, I want to do follow the right path. Into just like law school or safety, security. But I'm so passionate. And my heart really did break when she just explained about, like when she talked about those 3 years as a paralegal, just commuting and just like letting her life, like living this life that she was just really unhappy with, but so happy that she was strong enough to say no.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah.
I tried this. It really isn't for me. I'm going to go this other way. That takes a lot of guts. It kind of like, it really does stem from the same guts that her parents had into making the move to America of her saying, now I'm doing this move. And I just like, I applaud that. It's extremely hard to do when you are, you know, just been told to follow this traditional path. So I'm so happy, the path that she's on. So,
yeah, it reminded me a little bit of Alex Liu, of course, who we also interviewed on the podcast.
Yeah.
Also an artist, also someone
very
who's like
similar
balancing between like pleasing her parents and following what they've taught her to do versus her passions. And I feel like it is incredibly relatable. Like, not even if you're an immigrant, but if you're an immigrant, anyone, of course, yes, anyone can relate to the idea of like, oh, we want like financial security, and this is something that your parents want for you, but you have some kind of passion that can be risky, and how do you follow that?
I'm so glad that she did the move, that she, you know, took a shot and like said like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna attempt this. Wherever that will take her, I feel that it will just be to happiness. Even if this isn't it, even if stand-up comedy isn't it, she is on her way because she already knows that the other thing is not it. So.
Exactly. She figured that one out.
And that's almost like half the battle. Like, realizing what you don't like is equally important. And it will take you to what you do like. It will.
And listen, 3 years to her might sound like, oh my gosh, why did I stick around in that job for 3 years? 3 years is not that long.
No.
Some people, their entire lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Their entire lives.
Yeah.
So I say good for her.
That wraps it up for today. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, and check us out on Instagram at Where We Land Pod. Ciao, ciao.
Hasta la vista, babies. At Where We Land, we know some immigrant experiences are harder than others, especially for those in the margins of our current legal system. If you would like to help, we encourage you to support organizations that provide services for immigrants and champion their rights. You can find a list of organizations in the show notes.